What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports Talk. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? Round one. We have an amazing show for you here today. Let's talk about it. Naoya Inoue, the monster. He is like hours away in this fight. We're going to be talking about it. Let's break it down. I'm going to be showing a little bit of highlights of Ye Joon Kim, and we're going to be checking him out as a fighter. So do me a favor and give these videos a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And like always, let's get right into this video. So fight fans, how you guys doing out there? Just setting up here. And we're going to be talking about this upcoming fight right here, which will be tomorrow. Wait a minute. Can I hear myself? How you guys doing out there? Okay, good. I want to test one more thing, and we're going to be talking about this upcoming fight right here, which will be tomorrow.
Congratulations, well done.
I just have to test this. I want to see if that works. I just have to know. All right, those would work too. All right, all right, all right. So I'm getting everything together. I'm putting it together. I got some more things coming here at Round One Sports Talk. Uh, s- uh, uh, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away, but I have something coming up for the background, something else added. I hope you like it and let me know what. Oh, I forgot to turn that off there. So, wow, let's talk about it, man. I couldn't wait to see Naoya Inoue back in the ring, back in action. And his opponent right now, I heard him talk English, in fact, for the first time yesterday. And I thought that that first interview that I saw, like they, put somebody's like voice in it or something, but I guess that's him. And he can speak English. And he said that when he looked into Naoya Inoue's eyes, as a fighter, he saw that he said he saw he's just a normal fighter. That's what he took from it. And I was like, wow, okay, okay, my man, okay. Because he's 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 hyping himself up for this moment. Ye Joon Kim is he's on his side. And he's not gonna think for Naoya Inoue. He's thinking for himself. And he's saying to himself, I'm gonna beat you. I'm going to beat you. So I asked myself the question, how? How are you going to beat him? So, in fact, for educational purposes, I'm going to bring up some of Ye Joon Kim's highlights. I hope they don't take my video down or, copyright me. I'll probably have to end up cutting it out or something. But for educational purposes, so we can learn more about Kim for the fans out there that are not too familiar with him. So let's take a look at his style, his power, and what he brings to the table in this fight against arguably one of the best pound for pound fighters we have in our era today, and the monster Naoya Inoue. So let's look at Kim here. I'm gonna pull him up here to see what's up, guys. How you doing? Gano Local TV in the building, baby. Thank you for tuning up and showing the support. Thank you, brother. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. All right, here he is. And he is the one, or I was gonna say he was in the one in the white shorts. They're both wearing white shorts. Okay. There's the guy that's wearing the white shorts with the blue line. That's not him. I'm gonna say he has red gloves on. I'm not sure what the other guy's gloves are, but we'll find out real quick. I think they're
조금 어느 정도
black.
끌어갈 수 있는.
Okay, so he has the red gloves on.
왼손 다시 바디 바디 성공.
Body shot right here.
다시 콤비네이션 앞면 복부.
I don't like how he holds
가능하고
his
있는
hands
안호참.
down low. How he holds his hands down low.
자 바디 앞면.
Good body shot.
바디 쪽.
That was a good sequence. Let's check that out again. There's only one problem with his technique. Notice, okay, it's a problem and it's not a problem if you understand yourself as a fighter. Meaning, when you throw your punches from down here from the hip, it's harder to read your fighter. Because if you're reading his shoulders, he can fake you with his shoulders. He can fake this and swing this way if you're watching his shoulders. So when the punches are coming from down here, you have to have a good waist, a good mobility in order to pull that style off. If you're standing more straight and you're throwing like this against a fighter such as Naoya Inoue, he's too fast. He's going to meet you right down the pike. He's going to hit you with something solid, right? So notice how he works around this guy's guard. And he comes in like Naoya Inoue has that type of, understanding of how to get around the guard. Now let's take a sequence, right? But look what his mobility is versus if you don't have that much mobility, typically you want to be in the high guard, right? And you want to work your angle. You want to flick your jab and use it as a utility weapon, depending on the opponent that you're in. You and your coach have already said this jab's going to work, this one's not. Don't get lazy with your jab. Don't double up on this guy. If you double up on the jab in the wrong position with this guy, he's going to make you pay. So when it comes to like your jab, that is something that you and your team should had already, So let's take a look at his work in the ring.
다시 콤비네이션 앞면 복부. 가능하고 있는 안호참.
Good. That was a good understanding. The first two punches weren't the punch he was looking for. The first two punches he threw to his guard, those are the distracting punches. Just to keep the guy in the high guard feeling the punches coming in. The punch he was looking for was that check right body hook. That's the punch he was setting up. That's the one he was looking for. And he saw that he didn't have to waste any movement because the guy was still in the high guard. He hit him with something in the high guard and then came around his guard and ripped him to the body.
바디 쪽 맞고 쓰러지는. 자, 여기서 경기가 끝이 납니다. 일어나지 못했던 안호참.
Okay. Oh, it's going to go right into it. How do I get that?
이제 1라운드 시작이 됐습니다.
There we go.
자, 이번
No,
경기
no.
12라운드로
지금 김혜준 선수가
바디.
바로 접니다.
자, 원투 이후에 바디 김혜준.
자, 떨어졌을
He fights too tall. He doesn't hide his chin. He doesn't tuck his chin in, coming in, and he doesn't bend with the knees. He fights, well, I don't know how far young in his career he is here, or if later in the video we're going to see him correct some mistakes. I haven't really had the time to like really thoroughly, so I'm doing my assessment right now with you guys, right now on him, in fact, right? When he step into this guy right here, he's too tall. he's like this. He's not tucking in his chin, he's not bending his knees, and he's definitely not probing the jab. He doesn't have his hand out in the front already trying to like disrupt his opponent's jab. No, he ain't doing any of that. He's still fighting, hands waist down, and a little bit of movement like this. He's really not faking out anybody but himself, and he's coming forward, and he took shots already.
저때
그렇죠. 원투 들어갑니다. 자, 계속 몰아붙입니다.
I don't like his footwork going in.
보십시오. 네, 좋습니다.
자, 바디.
It looks like he hits hard.
연라운드부터
That,
작전이
what the
바뀌었지.
hell kind of...
좀 본인이
Left
구상하는
is-
것이 있겠죠.
네.
자, 그리고 몰아붙입니다. 김혜준.
아직까지 그 부상을 당해 저체심을
다시 레프트, 라이트, 연타.
You guys notice anything too? Throughout this video right here, have you noticed anything? How many punches has the other guy thrown? I think that was the first one I saw. So he's really backing this guy up. He's got him gun shy. The guy must be feeling, you know, his power, right? But obviously this guy, this type of opponent, you know, is really based on his skill level at the time. So I'm not gonna say, you know, I don't really know where he's at in his career in this fight.
레프트. 터빈갑니다. 유효타 많이 만들어냈습니다. 그리고 바디. 안면쪽.
Nice left. That's kind of like a push down. And the fact that Naoya Inoue is practicing for a right-handed fighter, he's a left-handed fighter. You know, you're gonna have to make the adjustments. But Naoya Inoue has fared well against his left-handed foes. In fact,
라이트 던져줍니다.
저 무서운
I
기술입니다.
believe
뒤로 뺐다
like
때리는데
3 fights in a row, he fought left-handed fighters. Marlon Tapales, Neri, and TJ Doheny, I believe, were all left-handed fighters.
그렇죠.
So he's coming off a consistent, you know, of fighting left-handed fighters.
도핑 테스트 때문에
So the adjustment is going to be good.
예.
큰 펀치를 많이 맞았어요.
Well, I mean, all right, let's see if he steps it up here. Let's see what happens here. Got a little mohawk going on in this fight, huh?
풍부한 노련미를 갖고 있기 때문에 아 좋아요.
That Naoya Inoue is not going to be fighting him
제비
like that. Let
성공이
him just
되면서 다른 공격도
all that right there.
정확하게 들어갔어요. 아주 레프트 바디샷 정말 일품이네요.
갑니다. 펀치.
바디 좋아요.
펀치.
달려드는 샹코타.
펀치 좋습니다. 네.
His defense is trash.
라이트.
His defense is almost non-existent. These guys will just throw punches back.
좋아요.
펀치 얹힙니다.
No,
선제 공격.
no.
안전수전을 다 겪은 선수 아닙니까? 예.
김혜준. 레프트.
Yeah, his defense is trash.
뒤로 살짝 밀려가는 샹코타.
좋아요.
라이트 좋습니다.
예, 찬스
He
잡았어요.
doesn't punch hard enough to end this kind of fighter.
바디.
예, 찬스
He
잡아야
look,
돼요.
it sounds like he's hitting
전체적으로
pretty hard.
끌어가는 복싱을 하기 때문에
Yeah, he can't go in there with that kind of fight game. Fighting Naoya Inoue. You're not going to be able to do that. So let's see at some point in the video. I'm going to, hopefully, I can probably tell by the crowds to see if his videos, or see if we can find something more recent. All right, this might be a more recent fight. What it looks like. All right, let's check this out.
Hey there. You're listening to State of Survival Radio. Calling all survivors who can hear this, please come.
우상원 선수.
Oh, this isn't a corona epidemic.
챔피언을
No.
좋습니다.
확실히 아직 사우스포에 대한
그렇다면은 지금 차라리 어떻게 보면 어그레시브한 그런데
저것들이 타고났어요. 훌륭합니다.
우상원 선수 크게 휘두르는 주먹.
He's the one with the red gloves on.
인지하고 있어요. 그래서
엄청난 어떤 임팩트 있는 주먹이 나오지 않는
네.
것 같아요.
That's.
이게 물론
I can
치약은
do it.
아니지만.
Is this anything else? Hope it gets a little better.
적극적으로 지금 나서고 있어요. 자, 연타 짧게 라이트. 발롱토. 자,
잘 맞췄어요.
김현종. 자, 왼쪽.
왼쪽하면서
He's
오른손.
a wild guy. He gets
자, 그러나 대응을 잘 해주고 있는 또 김예준 선수. 좋습니다. 김현종.
well, he gets out the punches. He ain't losing tight punches.
자, 바디. 자, 왼쪽.
Right. I seen what I wanted to see. I seen what I wanted to see. Tell you the truth. What's up, XL? What fight? What time will his fight start? Naoya Inoue should be making his ring entry. He should be walking to the ring at 6 in the morning. That's when he should be. The fight card, I have it here. I order ESPN Plus, so I'm gonna be watching it on ESPN Plus. And the fight card itself, the main event card, it starts at 4:15 in the morning. 4:15. So if you wanted to watch the full fight card, 4:15. Naoya Inoue's ring walk should be around 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's not too bad. I'm usually up around that time to watch an amazing fighter such as Naoya Inoue. Hell yeah. Salute, Lionheart. How you doing in the building? Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to hit that like for me. It really helps out the channel. So we took a look at Ye Joon Kim right now. And what I took from him, he's not on the level as a fighter such as Naoya Inoue. He's in for a rough night. He doesn't have a great defense, a good defense, and I would say on about a 2 to a 3. I've seen better amateur kids have better defense than him. His foot placement, he doesn't understand how to move with his punches with his body at the same time. And it's like a dance. He leaves his feet too much for me. He doesn't know how to cut off the ring at all. I saw the guys, he kept circling out, and he was just following them. He doesn't have a really great jab. He has a good straight left. He has a good straight left, and it looks like he does have a little pop on his punches. That by itself is not going to award you any kind of victory over such a skilled fighter like Naoya Inoue. What you're about to see is Naoya Inoue shine. That's what you're about to see. The world needs to see this fight right here. Because I know that they're not going to want to give him credit. Still, this guy is never been knocked out in his career. And he is ranked number 11 by the WBO. So he is a ranked opponent. Naoya Inoue coming into his last 4 fights, he fought all 4 world champions. He fought 4 world champions in his last 4 fights. And two of them were unified. So I really can't complain for what Naoya Inoue has done and the situation he finds himself in. As a fight fan, I am reminded this is a last-minute replacement. The guy that should have been in there, many of us believe he found a way out. I'll leave it as that. Naoya Inoue is all business. And speaking of business, I just want to point this out to you guys. What's up, guys? What's up, Stockton Mob? Oh, shit. My doorbell rang. Oh, it's a package guy. The video I played, the last video, his opponent hit him with a shot that probably should have put him out. Yeah. He can take a punch. It looks like he got a good iron chin. He's never been knocked out. So Naoya Inoue is definitely going to test that chin in this fight, my man. Absolutely. hopefully we see that Beast Kim in this night. Hopefully we see the best Kim. Sorry, my eyes are bad, guys. If you guys are just knowing who I am and everything, it's a clear fact that I gotta get some glasses. I gotta get them, baby. I'm working on that doctor's appointment. I'm in a little denial, but as you know, fucking getting old sucks, right? And you always want to think you can see everything the greatest. But yeah, I gotta tell you guys though, right? Let me point something out here, right? The lights and stuff. If you guys don't, I always talk about this on my channel. I always say boxing is a business disguised as a sport. And the reason why I bring that up right now is because if you haven't noticed, see, I point out things here at Round One Sports Talk. Most of these channels don't even pick up on, but you're welcome. You're welcome because they're gonna come check it out, right? Have you noticed of late that the Ringside magazines and their champions have been all wearing their Ringside magazine belt? No wonder Turkey Alice Sheep went out there and talked with Naoya Inoue, and Naoya Inoue does have a Ringside magazine belt. But how many times have you ever seen in his last previous fights that Ringside magazine belt? You might see it here and there, but he usually typically stands there with all four. Sometimes he's dressed. Sometimes, it depends, but it's always him like this. Against Luis Pantera Nari, same thing. Against TJ Doheny, same thing. You never really seen that ringside. This time, the ringside magazine belt was front and center, freshly made, brand new. Did you see the size of it? They had it wrapped around his chest. All the four belts down here, Ringside magazine up here, like that. And the Saudi prince bought it, and he's been sending out all these tweets about all the new changes that are going to come. I like a few of the changes, some of the things that they've been saying so far. I'm a little concerned about, the hands that the Ringside magazine is currently in. And when you have that, see, Oscar De La Hoya, when he bought it, he got a lot of scrutiny for always the Ringside magazine happened to be a Mexican fighter. And a lot of Mexicans were talked about good. He would occasionally have writers say what it was, but for the most part, and he got a lot of scrutiny, but the Ringside stood, it was fair. It stood kind of, and it was a little political. I at times, and then at sometimes you can blatantly see, like, come on, Ringside magazine, for real, like. But I would say it was fair. I would say for the most part when Oscar had it. Now that they have it, I can't put the cart before the horse. I have to see what direction they're going in. But I also notice of late that Ringside magazine belt has been popping up more now than ever. You see it everywhere. Every time I turn it, I'm like, Tio has his. Everywhere you see it, it's like, and they're reminding you. These are subliminal moments. What do you see when you saw Naoya Inoue, one of the best fighters, your favorite fighter? You saw the belts and the Ringside magazine. When are you going to see when he gets in the ring now in Tokyo? I bet you that Ringside magazine is put on him. How much you want to make a bet? When he got dropped with Luis Pantera Nari, it was only 4 belts. TJ only the 4 belts. And Saudi Prince is going to try to make this Ringside magazine belt an official belt. Mark my words. This is a business disguised as a sport. He's going to start having guys fight for that belt like competitively. Not that rule, I think, that the number 1 should always fight the number 2 and keep that guideline. If you do away with that guideline and you make it a belt that you could win and lose it in the ring, now we're talking. Now we talking. You know, the only way you could lose it in the ring and the ringside magazine. Notice when Teal lost all his belts to George Camboza didn't take the ringside magazine belt. Teal still had it. Because he was considered by, you see, so it had to be like the number one, number two, and then the ringside magazine had to be on the line type shit. I've seen people lose their belts and keep the ringside a lot of times. So you got to make it where that you lose it and win it in the same way. Once you establish that, that's a belt, baby. That's a belt. And then you got the title on it, the People's Champion, prestigious. So Naoya Inoue owns them all. He has all the Infinity Stones. He has that ringside magazine and all the belts. He's a super champion, man. You know, it wouldn't validate him any more than what he's already validated if he went and got the IPO. I think that would just be greed at that point, because the IBO won't boost his status and no, it wouldn't do anything for him. And he doesn't attach himself to those kind of belts, so he would never go for that belt. But jokingly, I say that, you know. But I saw this guy, Kim. I saw that he's not defensively sound, and you're not going to fool Naoya Inoue with that mere tactic of keeping your hands down from here and throwing punches. Naoya Inoue is truly a skilled fighter, and I'm going to take a chance. Hey, you know, sometimes you got to live a little in life, you know, and maybe they might pull my video here, right? But I just got to show you. I gotta show you a little bit of the monster. Shit, if I showed you Young Kim, they're gonna cut it for that. I might as well show you the monster, right? This dude is he ain't nothing nice, man. He's not the one to play with. He really not. Yo, first, nah, they're not. I was gonna try to show the way in where the thing, but forget it. Let me pull up. My man is just he's something else. Now it's like I can't find no highlights of him, huh? All right, here we go. He is impressive to say the least. Okay, I know I can't show that fight. I've been banned for that fight. The Des Martinez fight, did I ever get cut for that one? I'm comfortable with that. All right, wait. Let me get this one out of the way because I know they copyrighted me one time for that one. So, all right. I think Des Martinez, they were cool with it. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm gonna share the screen with you guys, and I have to show you the monster. What eats fish and lobster? Yo, South Korea and Japan's rivalry. Oh man, they be at each other, bro. Yeah, you know this is for bragging rights, right? This is my man Naoya Inoue right here. He is to say the least, a very impressive fighter. Um, so let's take a look at his style and what makes him so dangerous. And this is for educational purposes so that we can study Naoya Inoue's fighting style. And I'm going to break down some of the things he does so well in the ring. One of the first things I want you to take a look at when you watch Naoya Inoue is his foot and body placement, how they move as one. His upper body and his feet are always moving to get into position to be able to land the next best punch. He has a real knack with distance. He understands not to, to stifle his punch so much. and boxing is also uh, a guessing man's game. Sometimes is instinctive. You have to react, and sometimes you can anticipate him going one way, and this time he goes another. That's you taking a gamble at it, right? So as we look at Naoya Inoue, I would like you to take a look at his footwork, his selection of punches. Okay, and he's fighting his opponent is Desmond Marinas. This is the first round, and let's take a look at him.
Not to stand directly in front of Inoue.
That was fast. That was fast. He closed the distance. Did you see how fast he closed the distance there? That was fast.
The 3-division world champion.
Oh, did you see that? Desmond Marinas threw out. Now, mind you, Desmond Marinas, right? He's a lefty. He threw out the right hand to go downstairs to the body. Did you see how fast Naoya Inoue made him pay for that? That shot, he smacked him off the top of his head. Look how fast that was. Look at this. You can't make mistakes against this guy. He made him. Look, watch. Watch. Coming up. He said, hey, he went downstairs. He said, wow, don't do that. Look, you seen how he whipped that body shot? He bounced like in a rhythm, and he was here 1 second, and he hopped, and he didn't have to dig into the body shot. He's also defensively sound. Naoya Inoue is anticipating Desmond Marinas throwing a punch back. His hands always up where it needs to be, and he got his eyes on his target while he works. That is, he's fundamentally sound. When I talk about a complete fighter, Naoya Inoue, sometimes young fighters can have their opponent hurt, and like Jackson did against Lee. He had him hurt. And Lee just was weathering the storm, and he was watching young Jackson, and young Jackson was not thinking about anything coming back, and he caught him, laid him out. I like that about Naoya Inoue, that you can see he's defensively responsible on the attack. Now, this is boxing. You're going to get hit with punches. He's not Superman, right? Right?
Only lasted a total.
He is very, very, very good. We should have just played this right here. Ads.
Winning gloves this time.
Watch this, right? In a fighter's career, there's always going to be that fight or that fighter that the fighter comes into that guy showed up, right? And you're in a war, in a battle, and he's probably the toughest opponent you've ever come to encounter with, right? Nonito Donaire and Naoya Inoue fought in the World Series of Boxing, and boy, was it a barn burner. That was a classic. I'm not sure if he got Fight Honors of the Year or was awarded Fight of the Year. My memory's a little vague back then, right? But what I do know is Nonito Donaire, the Flash, gave Naoya Inoue the worstest ass whooping he has ever had in his boxing career. Yes, you heard that correctly. Even though Nonito Donaire lost that fight, that's the worst time, the worst fight I have ever seen Naoya Inoue in. In fact, Nonito Donaire fractured his orbital bone. And I believe in the 9th round, I'm not sure exactly when it happened, but I think I saw the punch where he also broke his nose. So he suffered a fracturable orbital bone, where in the fight, you saw Naoya Inoue cover his eye and fight Nonito Donaire with one eye covered. And when he had to block, he tried to hit the guy he thought most likely where he was. If you go back and watch that fight, you'll see Naoya Inoue covering his eye. He was fighting him like this. He was in trouble. Naoya Inoue proved to me in that fight he was born to do this. He's a real warrior. Sometimes you will never know that about your fighter until they're in that position. This man caused him the most pain in his entire professional career. That's that guy. And he signed up to fight him again. Nonito Donaire made himself valuable. He was so good, in fact, after the loss with Naoya Inoue, he went back to defeat an undefeated Frenchman, young fighter, knocked him out to retain the WBC Championship of the World, to get another crack at the monster Naoya Inoue. I want you to keep that in mind. That when they say Naoya Inoue was 36, washed up in the first fight, yeah, really? He was good enough to go on and get another world title from an undefeated champion. He wasn't washed up. He had one of the greatest performances, but it just so happened to be against one of the greatest talents we have in our era. That's all. Had it been any other 122-pounder on planet Earth, Nonito Donaire walks away with that trophy. And that's a fact, Jack. He was good enough to make it to the final against all the men that were in that tournament. But yet he wasn't good. Don't believe this stuff that they be putting out. Now, the reason why I said all of that is to say this. That when you come into a match against a guy that broke your nose, your orbital bone, and we all know he gave you the toughest fight of your career. When you go in to fight that guy, you're expecting another barn burner. You're even expecting that maybe this time he's got the blueprint. He should be able to beat Naoya Inoue. Well, let's see what happened. And let's talk about fighting adversity, stepping up to your biggest challenge, and shining on your greatest opponent to date. How many fighters can say they did that?
Fight and sometimes gets overlooked because of his
Watch that, but every time I watch it, I just clear my mind and I imagine it just being a new fight. You know what I mean? I was like, Donaire, run! Flash is my dude, man. He's a great champion. Great for the sport, man. He had great moments on a pound for pound list. Surefire Hall of Famer, Flash Nonito Donaire. Surefire Hall of Famer. I can't wait until they tell his story. He has an amazing story. He achieved, I believe it's 4 divisions, right? He has 4. Great fighter. But Naoya Inoue, I just wanted to show a little bit of it just in case they had made me cut the majority of this video out. At least have something to show you guys me. So look, what can I say? Naoya Inoue is a sharpshooter. He's definitely a sharpshooter. He has one punch knockout power. He moves exceptionally well around the ring. The one thing that one of the many things that Naoya Inoue is really good at, he knows how to read a fighter. Just because every boxer gets in the ring doesn't mean he knows how to read yet. No, that sometimes comes later in your career. You start to notice things, you start to make adjustments, and I've talked about this. The difference between a good fighter and an elite fighter, right? A good fighter will make reads anywhere between 6 and 8 rounds. By that point, somewhere in between 6 and 8, he's figured his guy out. That's a good fighter. A great fighter will have their opponent figured out between 4 and 6. 4 and 6 rounds. A great fighter will typically have you figured out, and he'll start to step it up right around there. An elite fighter, he does it in the moment. You do too many wrong mistakes in front of him, he's already figured you out. That's an elite fighter. The type of fighter that if you happen to punch him with a good shot, well, then good luck, because I don't think you're going to hit him with that same shot ever again. Elite fighters like Mayweather, for instance, Zab Judah hit him with that shot. Did he hit him with that same shot the rest of the night? No. Mayweather evaded it the rest of the night. He learns things in the moment. He makes reads. Not every fighter can make reads. Some fighters are just in there actually just fighting. Some are just boxing. Some are good in boxing situations, but when they get in trouble, they don't know how to deal with the pressure. So these are all things I talk about fighters. You're not going to know what that fighter's really built like until he's in boxing situations. You can't just, he's just a tough guy and he's going to be, I've seen tough guys broken. I've seen the fight beaten right out of them. You see it in their eyes. They no longer want to be in the fight. And these are tough men. So it's being disciplined. It's the fighter believing in his training. It's the fighter, staying to the game plan. And having that mental fortitude and be whatever you see in your mind, be able to translate it out into the fight. It's tough. Sometimes in your mind, you're more of a ninja than you really are in real life. So I think these situations, it's key. It's key to know yourself as a fighter, your limits, how, what you can really do. And when a fighter understands himself, he can be very successful, even if the fighter's one-dimensional. Even if the fighter has a certain style, every fight, he fights the same exact way. Errol Spence Jr., and I don't mean to call him one-dimensional at all, but Errol Spence had the same fight plan. Every fight. And no one could beat him until Terrence Crawford did it. So Errol Spence Jr. knew himself as a fighter. He knew his limits. He knew what he was good at. And he knew how to weather the storm to get where he wanted to be in the fight. He was very persistent and he punched hard. Errol Spence Jr. knew himself. He was so successful, in fact, that 99% of his competition he beat. Only one guy beat him. That's how good he was. You knew what he was going to do. You knew the way he was going to fight. You just couldn't stop it. Kell Brook knew everything about Errol Spence Jr. Kell Brook couldn't stop it. Neither could any of the other 99% of the fighters. And that's what I mean, that you can have a certain style, but as long as you know yourself as a fighter, you're not trying to do too much. You don't get lost in the fight. You don't throw your punches and say, look at yourself and say, then what? As long as you don't allow yourself, you have a fight plan for every situation. Your fight plan in Errol Spence Jr.'s head was into his whole fight strategy was plan A, to enforce my fight plan. And plan B was to enforce plan A. That's what Errol was. But he was really good at what he did. He understood his limits. He understood himself as a fighter, everything. And the reason why I say that is because this Kim kid, right? He's talking with a lot of confidence. And I understand that he's on his own side. of course you should talk with confidence. He kind of surprised me with some of the things he said and some of the claims he's made. He's talking about he's going to stop Naoya Inoue and that his style is really bad for Naoya Inoue's style. One thing I can see, like my man pointed out here, he does have a good chin. He got caught with some good shots, and he has these funny looping punches. They're not your traditional straight. You seen sometime in the video, he looked like it was like a curveball. He threw it like this, and it came in, and it hit the guy like he like went like that. And I looked at it, and he did it in more than a few fights. And I'm watching his style of punching. At first, I kind of chalked it to being awkward. And then when I was breaking it down with you guys right now, I kind of looked at it like, that might not be as awkward as I think. I think that's how he throws it. And when you got a different kind of puncher, Naoya Inoue might not have ever been with a more elusive, awkward puncher, if you know what I mean. He fought awkward guys, but they were awkward in an awkward way. They were either like looping punches like that, so that's how they were wild in that way, or they relied on overhand, so they were wild that way, or they were wild in aggression. See, this guy's fighting wild style is with his punches. They're a little deceptive. If Naoya Inoue can get to him first because he's so tall, he fights so tall, so confident. He fights like an arrogant fighter. Like, how dare you be in this ring with me fighting me? He's looking at the other guy, this Kim dude. And he's fighting like I said, go down. Like he's hitting him like I said, go down. You know what? Why are you getting back up? Like, don't you know who I am? Like he kind of has that demeanor. And Naoya Inoue is gonna calmly introduce his jaw to his fist, right? And then after that, there should be 3 hits in the fight. There should be Naoya Inoue hitting him hitting the ground, and the ambulance hitting 90. All right. And those are the 3 hits in the fight. Right. This guy, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's full of confidence. Here's his opportunity. He's going out there to try to shock the world. This is his moment. Ye Joon Kim is popping shit. Talk about, I looked in Naoya Inoue's eyes. I ain't seen nothing special. All I saw was a typical fighter. That's all he said he saw. He said he's going to go in there, he's going to apply his pressure, and he's going to catch up to Naoya Inoue. A lot of Japanese fans, you know, this is their hero. They love to see him fight, but they're nervous. They're always nervous. The Japanese fighters have never, and I repeat, for as good as some of those champions were, I'm going to be blatantly honest, they have never seen a champion quite like this. No, not the kind of champion and Naoya Inoue has made himself. Japan has really backed him. They chose him as their fighter. And they don't want to see him lose. I think the entire Japanese continent took a deep breath when they saw him go down against Luis Pantera Nari. I think if you want to get a picture that can say more than 1,000 words, look into the audience when he goes down and see how many jaws are like this. Look how many Japanese people in the audience are like this. And if you can't see them because they got their mask on, I believe me, underneath that mask, they're like that. I've never seen 50,000 people at one time be like this. If they had a camera and they spun it around when he went down, oh my God. I would like to put that a poster, because it reminds you, just because you're down, you're not out. Look how many people thought you were down. Some counted you out. And he rise through the occasion. And he showed sometimes situations, life can be tough. It can knock you down. Naoya Inoue rose off that canvas like a dragon, bro. And he showed him, he calmed down. Good shot. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is the Monster. And he beat the brakes off that man. Yo, he took it to him. Man, I was nervous. I saw him go down. And I said to myself, I got my short. You guys see me. I got my receipts. I was like, Neil is okay. He's okay. He's okay. I was like, he's okay. He's okay. And I even said it at the closing seconds of the round. I said, Luis Pantera Nari's moment was right there. If he couldn't finish Naoya Inoue, I was like, you guys are about to witness a comeback. Didn't I say it? I said, you're about to witness why you don't let off the greatest fighter on the planet. If you had him at that moment, that was your moment right there. You should have jumped on him like a spider monkey. That's it. And Naoya Inoue showed the world why he is who he is. The way he came back and dismantled Luis Pantera Nari, he figured him out quick. Sidestep, Luis Pantera Nari was his pressure. Step, side, bam, out. Pressure on the ropes, couple shots, uppercut, bam, close, inside, dropped him. The last knockout was a thing of beauty. That's why I watch boxing for. To see shit like that impresses me. I'm not really easily impressed in the sport of boxing. I've typically seen it all, if not myself, done it all. So I'm not really impressed. I'm not impressed by a person's physique, shape. A boxing shape is typically not muscular. You're not supposed to look like an Adonis. An actual boxing shape. Actually, Tyson Fury has, he's been a little thinner, a bit more in shape, but that's probably one of the best boxing shapes. And it's not going to appeal to the audience to look like that, but you move better that way. I understand a lot of these things. I'm not easily impressed at all. When a man can impress me in a fight, I'm always going to be impressed by the knockout. That's never going to get old in my head. That right there, watching a grown man get knocked out, woo! It spices up the blood. You know what I mean? It does. It really does. Have you ever watched a guy get knocked out and be envious and be like to the point where that you're like, try that on me. I want to see you knock. It has nothing to do with you. You want to put on your cape and save this other dude, like in a Rocky movie. Hold him in your arms, like no, and look at the other guy. And you know what I mean? And that's what kind of it does for me. It wakes up this fighter inside of me sometimes. Watching dudes fight. You ever watch a street fight or something and everybody's running away and you're walking towards it, and they're body slamming each other and moving furniture in a house and you haven't taken a step backwards. Like this doesn't bother you. And that was me. That is me. Fighting is something that I start walking towards it. And if you're anything like a fan like me, you understand that you start to look at fighting in a different set of lenses, a different perspective. And I started asking, how did he do that? What would you do in this situation? What could he have done different? Once I started viewing boxing like that, boxing really started to fall in place. That's when I started to notice that at one point in my young fighting career, I was doing too much. I was too concerned with looking good rather than getting to the point. Fighting doesn't always have to flow like the movies. Street fighting is much different than actual boxing. You're trying to. I've seen boxers try to street fight, doesn't work too good sometimes. I've seen boxers street fight and brutalize a street fighter. I've seen it both ways. I've seen it both ways. I have. But this is the art of boxing. The beauty about it, we get to see it in a sanctioned environment, structure in a ring, and we get to see who the best fighters in the world are. Naoya Inoue, truly for me, for everything that I look in a fighter, besides the fact that I always remind myself, judge him by a human standard. There is no Superman in the world. Naoya Inoue could lose. There could be that guy out there. There's always that guy. It could be Junto Nakatoni. It could be Bam Bam Rodriguez. It could be one of the guys at 126. Or it could be a relatively unknown making his way up the rankings, waiting to run into Naoya Inoue. If you don't think that there are men out there right now studying him day in, day out, thinking about the day that they could come up against a fighter such as that. The one thing about those guys on that side of the world, they're really not concerned about their they're more concerned about sharing the ring with that type of fighter and having his name on their resume. I like that about that side of the world. Yes. It seems like in America, we're still stuck on this. And protecting the and not taking the risk. Naoya Inoue one time once tweeted a famous tweet. I think it was to Devin Haney about him not having the warrior samurai spirit and going in and finishing off Regis Progress. And when he made that statement, was that so far off? Did many of you feel like Devin Haney should have went in when he had Regis Progress hurt and put him away? Some people said young Devin Haney didn't give Regis Progress an opportunity to pull an upset. He played it safe. I agree with both sides. He didn't take no chance to discipline, punish Regis some more. Clearly beat him in the fight. He didn't go in for the kill, looking for the knockout. Sometimes you can go in looking for a knockout and get knocked out. Right? So when Naoya Inoue tweeted that, Naoya Inoue is the type of fighter. He has that warrior samurai instinct where that if he sees he has you hurt, he's going in for the kill, my man. So let me read some of y'all messages. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. My rules are, I'd have more faith in Kim, but I just watched Kim versus Diesel. It was 50-50. That dude is 14-8. Styles make fights though. We just at the beginning of my video here, I watched a couple Kim videos. I'm not sure of what the opponents' names were, or even if I watched that same fight, particular opponent you're talking about. Yeah, but I broke down his fighting style. I just don't really like it. I don't like his defense. His punches, I talked about them. They're a little, crafty and stuff, but I don't think that's enough to beat Naoya anyway. Naoya stays so composed after being dropped, almost like a robot. Yeah, it's hard. When we talk about fighters with the greatest poker faces in boxing, guys can get hit at the body, right? And you're sitting there and you're fighting against them and you're trying to read your fighter to see if you're hurting him. and you hit him to the body, pow, and he's like, poof. And inside his body, he's like, ah! He just wants to curl up in a ball, but he's trained. He's a trained fighter. He ain't going to give you anything. That takes time. That takes experience. That takes, because when you first get hit like that, when you're young, you're gonna show. You're gonna go back. You're gonna watch it, and your coach will say, "Yo, you see right there, you can't do that." And some of these fighters have the greatest poker faces. Later on in their career, you ever see when they sit the two fighters and they're much older, they got all the gray beard, and they're breaking down their historic fight between them. And he tells them, and he reveals, he goes, "Hey, I just want you to know, when you hit me with that shot right there, I was knocked out on my feet. If you threw one more punch, the fight was over." And that guy was the one that won the fight, and he just revealed that to him. But in the moment, he stone faced like this, right? Naoya Inoue was like robotic. He got up like it didn't even. Naoya Inoue, you just got knocked down. What are you talking about? He already forgot about it. Why are you bringing up old shit? I'm fighting, bro. Like, yo, listen. Talk about a man's mental fortitude. Talk about a man focusing. Talk about, that is probably the first time in your amateur or pro career you have ever been dropped. Your wife and children are right there with your mom. Naoya Inoue and his wife and mom always at a front row center at Naoya Inoue's fight. His kid brother's in the corner. His father Shingo's his coach. And 50,000 Japan people just witness you going down. Some fighters can't get out of their head from their thinking about their wife and all the people that are laughing at him. He's thinking about the memes in his head while standing up. Did you see Tio when he got dropped by George Camboza? Tio even chuckled to try to give like the people, I'm all right. But you can see that nervous chuckle. He was in his head. He couldn't get out of his own head. Many fighters, Devin Haney could not get out of his head. He couldn't believe he went down. His little brother's there, his father, entire family. His father said, "I'm going to send my son out there to kill this man." And he's in there getting toe up. How mentally strong are you? 50,000 plus, wife and your kids, Naoya Inoue, watched him go down. With all the pressure of Japan saying, "You mean to tell me that you petitioned to reopen the Tokyo Arena? There hasn't been a boxing match there in 25 years. The last boxing match we held in this arena, Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. You mean to tell me you went and got Luis Pantera Nares that disrespected Japan? We had to ban him for life out of Japan. We don't want that man here. You also petitioned for us to let him back into the country, and in front of all your fans in the Tokyo Arena, you're going to get knocked down in the first round?" What do you think was going through his head? What do you think do you believe that the mayor, if they have a mayor in Japan, or the politicians, do you think they were in attendance? How many bigwigs in Japan were in that crowd, you think, on that night for that guy? The biggest star Japan has ever had. Could you keep it together? Everything that they said about you leading up into the fight, that man got up off that ground, and you were right. Did you see any change in his appearance, he went back to work. It was incredible to watch. Luis Pantera Nari didn't win another second, and I mean another second in that fight after he got up off that ground. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was something to watch, and it speaks to the level of fighter that Naoya Inoue, the type of warrior that he is. He has a no quit mentality. You can break his orbital bone, he's still gonna fight you. I bet if you rip off one of his arms, he'd still fight you. He's a fighter. He's definitely a fighter. And Ye Joon Kim, I want to thank you. I want to personally thank you for saving this card. I want to personally thank you. You know, I feel like fucking Christmas right now. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's Christmas, and Christmas is about to hit in a few hours. We got to get a little bit of sleep. Make sure we set them alarm clocks on. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be him. Be like, oh, my body naturally wakes up at 5:30, and you wake up, it's 10:30 in the afternoon, and when you turn on, it's just a bunch of YouTube reels of the fight, and you're like, no, you're trying not to watch it. Try to get the fight. Don't be that guy. Don't be him. Let's set our alarm clocks. You know what I mean? He should be. Matter of fact, I'm going to recheck it right now for you. I'm going to Google this shit. I already did it. And I have ESPN Plus. I got my notification on. It's just going to load automatically. The card's going to turn on in my room, in this room, at 4:15. I'm probably going to be in the next room sleeping. My alarm clock's going to go off. I'm going to get up, come in. Everything's going to be on. So I already know, but I'm, it never hurts to double check. So, what time main card? Yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah. Inoue versus Ye Joon. Okay. Yeah, it says what time that's my question. The card kicks off at 4:45 Eastern time with a 12-round co-main event. Gene Sakai, and I don't want to ruin this guy's name. I won't even try. For the Oriental and Pacific Boxing Federation, the welterweight title, the OPBF. Oh yeah, that's the letters for the org. Yeah, okay. The welterweight title and the WBO Asian Pacific welterweight titles on the line. Okay. Still didn't answer my question. Both Naoya Inoue, Kim weighed in at 121.75 pounds on Thursday, heading into their bout. What you need to know for Friday. The main card kicks off at 4:45 Eastern Standard Time with the 12 man. I already read all that shit. The main card between Naoya Inoue and Ye Joon Kim is scheduled to follow the ring walk at 5:45 Eastern Time. Okay, and then it has a quotation that Japan is one of the countries that pushes the action. Meaning, in America, let's say Tank Davis in America was fighting in Las Vegas, right? Let's say that Tank Davis was scheduled to make his ring walk at 11:30, right? In America, no matter what happens, Tank Davis doesn't come out of the locker room until 11:30. If everybody gets knocked out in the first round, what they typically do is they fill in the time slot with like old fights. They'll play like an old Tank Davis fight, or the guy that's fighting, or the commentators will pick up the action and they'll have things to talk about and so forth and so forth. But Tank Davis will not come out of the locker room until the 11:30 scheduled. Everything is scheduled in America. In Japan, if you get knocked out in the first round, that next guy better be ready because you got to come out. So they'll give you a little bit of time in between. They do, but they rush it along a lot further. So depending on, let's say these guys go out there and they quickly knock these guys out, that ring walk can be pushed forward. Yeah, but the latest, the time frame or their anticipated 12 rounds, 12 rounds is about 5:45 in the morning. Yeah, because there's a quotation that says start time depending on the duration of the previous fights on the card. You know, like what's going to happen, like with the outcome of the card. So yeah, they I can also screen share this shit too with you guys. I wanted you, yeah, I'm gonna screen share this. Hold up. I want you guys to see something. Okay, first, if I go like this, and then I go like this, and I go like that, I go to what's this? Right here. Okay. Check it out. I just want you to see this. Look at how the Ring magazine is around his. When have you ever seen a picture with Naoya Inoue with the Ring magazine wrapped around his chest like that? Can anybody provide me with a picture with him? He usually puts the ringside magazine with the rest of the belts. He'll put it like on the corner, like right here. I've seen that him do that. I've seen him take pictures where like the belts, he was like being interviewed in a ring, and the belts were all like on wrapped around the 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 ring and the ring belts. They were on it, and he had the Ring magazine like that, but never like this. And look how fluffy, how big. That's a remake. They're making them nice. Turkey Al Sheikh said, "Put that belt right there." So that's him. You see where it says right here? Wait, where was it? Oh, right here. Right here. Look, right here. 5:45 Eastern Standard Time, like that. See? So, yeah. I don't want you to miss out on the fight. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So, it's an early fight. You know, sometimes there were a couple like fights, the UK fights and stuff. They kicked off around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've been known to kind of like miss it. I'm preparing, I'm running around. I can't wait to see this fight for tonight at 11. And my boy, did you see that knockout? What do you mean? The fights are on. They're like, like I've been him. So as I get better with all of this, I get more familiar with the time zones for some of these fights. Yes. Yeah, Lloyd, the fight is in the morning. Yeah. Edwin, are you ready for today? I don't know. I'm going crazy. Listen, Jesus. Yo, I am ready, man. What's he saying? I gotta read this. Glenn, That's what your name is? I can see it now. Glenn McClinton. He's in the bantamweight division. This guy looks like a bodybuilder. Very strong. He is a. Casamera is strong, right? He might look ripped, cut up, whatever, right? But when usually I try to use a measuring stick by whatever I'm looking for, whether I'm looking for to measure him against another guy's style, another guy's power, attributes, whatever the situation will be. So since you bring this up, my measuring stick for how powerful, like fighters like MJ Casamera, um, John Casamera, and Akmadalia, when I use that, like if I was to put, let's just say MJ for instance, right here, Akmadalia. Let's just take him hypothetically, and I was to compare him to how strong he would be against Naoya Inoue. I would use the guy that beat him. So I would use Marlon Tapales as a measuring stick. Because of the fact that Marlon Tapales was strong enough to weather Agmadalia's punches, although he looked strong, good specimen, he wasn't strong enough to put him down. Naoya Inoue knocked him out. So it tells me right there, Naoya Inoue's the harder puncher. And John Casamera, there's a lot of guys that are physically strong. And if you stand there like a punching bag, they can load up. They're going to hit you with big shots. If they don't got the ability to load up, because it takes that minute split second for you to load up that much more, right? That if he can't load up and sit down on his punches because of the punches that are coming forward, that would take your power away from you. So when you're fighting Naoya Inoue, you need that base to lunge, and you get pow, and you keep getting punished for it, you're going to be hesitant. You're going to want to flow a little bit more and be a little bit faster. You're going to give up on some of your power because you're going to want to break them down first before you can land a big shot on a skilled fighter like Naoya Inoue. And that's what separates him from everybody else. You see? So, yeah, strong fighters. Naoya Inoue has come against strong fighters, tall fighters, lefties, righties, crafty, orthodox fighters, slick style fighters. He's pretty much come against them all. But with every fight, every time he enters the ring, he puts everything on the line. And all his hard work. Naoya Inoue has put a target on his back where there's over 1,000 men in the division, and he's taken on the title of being only one champion. If you ever think about being champion in his division, well, you must go see him. He answers all challenges. The man is basically fighting 4 times a year for the last 2 years in a row since we got out of the corona epidemic. He shows no signs of slowing down. He has taken the responsibility, what it means to be the king of the division, and he's definitely showing up and accepting all challenges. He can't fight everybody at the same time. Some fans might be upset that he might have not fought this guy or that guy, but I'm here to tell you, be patient. Your fighter will get his turn to get knocked out, because that's all about what's going to happen. There is no one, and I repeat, no one at 122 pounds, respectfully to all the competition that is there, this man is truly on a different level. He just is. Me, I think, and the rest of the fighting fans, and most of, the hardcore fans believe that his greatest adventure would be to adventure out into the 126. But no sooner that I say that you know, it's a double-edged sword where Naoya Inoue's, because he has so many options. And I don't mean a double-edged sword. I mean he has options. Meaning, if he pushes up to 126, he gets further away from the Junto Nakatoni fight and Bam Rodriguez. Those guys are that way, right? If he stays there, they have an opportunity of moving up and eventually fighting him. Okay? But by moving up to 126, we get a gauntlet of a whole new menu of fighters. A lot of answers in his career can be answered, which I don't think that they're legit answers. Maybe for the casuals, right? Like the people that still say, Naoya Inoue, in order for him to be great, he has to fight in America. Psst, he's already fought here 3 times. Next question, like they act like they said something, right? They just know very little about him. That's all. But I'm here to educate you here at Round One Sports Talk. And they'll say, like, all these kind of things like he hasn't really beat a lot of American fighters. Yes, he has. Multiple. And like, it's just when he comes to the 126, he'll be entering America, fighting American champions, which we know, I think 3 of the champions at 126 are American. And Nick Ball is the only one, I think, is the European one out there right now. So that will answer a lot of these like false rumors on the man, because I don't think that has anything to do with fighting. Although I am on the line where the better of the competition is in America, because you have all races are here. You'll have a Mexican American fighters, Japan Mexican fighters, everything. All kinds of nationality. They're already here. And they're getting the top training here in America, where America leads in more world champion than any other country in the world. So the experience you can get here is unmatched. You see? So that's why they say, come here, because all the nationality and races are already here. And they're at the best level here. Fight them here. That's why they say that. You see? So Naoya Inoue can answer a lot of those questions, because, like I said, I repeat, I don't think that has anything to do with the type of fighter that he is. Naoya has nothing to do with skin, height, none of that. Naoya Inoue is who he is because of what he understands about the sweet science and how he puts it together, time in and time out. With each match, with each style, with each opponent bringing their own unique, puzzle to the equation, Naoya Inoue figures these guys out in a way quite like no one's doing it today. He has knocked out undefeated champions, moving up weight, fighting champions, knocking them out in the first round. 24 consecutive world title fights is something not to just let it go over your head, when there has been no man in history to do that throughout 4 divisions. There has been a man to probably fight 24 consecutive world title defense, but 4 division, that's a different milestone. Okay. Naoya Inoue does have the opportunity to be one of the first men in history to unify at 3-weight division. The world is watching. And the world is listening. I know I will. I know where I will be January 24th, 2025 at 6 o'clock in the morning. You can find me watching Naoya Inoue. And I'm interested to see what he has to say after the fight. Uncle Bob, he's been saying the same thing since the TJ Doheny fight. I'm glad we can get over this fight right here. Naoya Inoue is coming to America. He has not changed on that. I believe that's 100. After this fight, be prepared to fight me for a ticket outside of Las Vegas. Yo, I the ticket's gonna be crazy, and depending who's on the fight card, right? They won't be too crazy because he's not there yet, right? So this one will be able to might get on a good budget. So if you're a fight fan and you want to get to see him, I suggest the first time he comes out here, watch that fight first, because after that, I think his stock is gonna go through the roof. It really is. I can see quickly where fans that are not familiar with him, where that you come across him for the first time and you're impressed. You know, you quickly fall in love with what he's doing and the beauty behind his fighting style and the violent nature behind it as well. You know, the one thing that I have to see for myself, in actuality, it's not actually seeing it, it's actually hearing it. I want to hear how hard he punches. I've heard so many people, so many famous boxers, commentators, and they've all said the same thing. When you hear it from Uncle Bob Arum, right? You know, I got to take that with a grain of salt cuz I understand he's promoting his guy, right? So Uncle Bob's going to make it sound like he's punching like nothing he's ever heard in his entire life, right? Right? So I take that with a grain of salt. But in every one of his fights, they have been different commentators. You know what I'm saying? Speaking throughout the and explaining. They all seem to say the same thing. I can't believe how hard he punches. They all seem to say the same thing about the man. Yeah, and he's truly remarkable, man. He truly is. I mean, when you think about the things he's done, you know, some of his achievements, like I don't think I'll be able to find his achievement thing here, but like some of his accolades, man, are really like they don't make sense. Some of his accolades don't make sense. Getting 8 belts within 1 year, unifying 6 belts at the 122-pound weight division within 6 months, which in 6 months he entered a new weight division, and within 6 months he had all 4 belts already. It's just you're not supposed to be doing that. I've never seen it. And it really like makes me like scratch my head. Like I'm just like when I'm reporting this stuff, I sometimes I go back and I double check it. I'm just like making sure, like, did you really read that correctly? Like, because the odds of one person, listen, people, the odds of you having a 6-7 year amateur career, 200-300 fights. If you were lucky, you went to the Olympics. If you were even luckier, you medaled in the Olympics, right? But you start your professional career. Out of every man and woman that ever boxed, not every man and woman ever made it to a world title fight. I know fighters that got 30 plus fights and they were just coming on their first world title opportunity. Not every person can stay undefeated coming up throughout the ranks and get promised a world title fight. As you can see, fighters can be avoided, ducked, and you might not ever get. I've seen fighters be in position to be a world title fight, and because he was waiting on the champion, took another fight and lost. Be at the doorstep of getting their first world title fight and never actually get there. Then when you finally get there, you have to win that world title. Once you win it, now you have to defend it. It's hard enough in boxing just to win one world title. Just one. And the honor and the championship status and the way your life will change just off of one belt. He had all four within 6 months. He's truly doing whatever he wants to the baddest man we have to offer. No matter how you see it, those guys were world champions. He took those belts off of them. He didn't fight no fax machine, and he didn't fight for no vacated title. He legitimately took those belts off champions that called themselves champions, that put in the work to be a champion. Naoya went in there and showed them, I'm him. I'm the bigger champion. Let me get that belt. He really whooped these champions' asses. And I'm looking at it and I'm just saying to myself, this is not happening. This is not happening. His record, this has got to be off. It's got to be a mistake, a typo. But one of the greatest things I could say while filming this channel, man, I got the privilege to watch him come up, man. I didn't watch this. Sometimes in sports, you come across a legend maybe too late in his career, and you start paying attention to that guy. Maybe you were on the other side, the other team or rival, and it didn't allow you to see his genius, whatever sport he's in. And then by the time you start to appreciate that person, they retire. I've gotten to see quite an extensive Naoya Inoue career, and there's much more to come. I can't wait. I'm excited for this fight. It's 8 o'clock. I still haven't ate. I'm about to go get something to eat. Fight fans, let me tell you guys, I'm eager. I am excited. I'm pumped up. I will see you guys there bright and early, 6 o'clock in the morning. Valdez, what's up, Tank? The hardest puncher for his size. Yeah, he is. Tank's not a big guy, bro. I'm not at all. Not at all. He's not. He's a devastating puncher, man. He can find your chin with that uppercut. Bro, if you do Tank wrong in the hood, right? And you think you stole something from him and you run away or something, that hook, that uppercut will find you. You can run around the building and hide around the corner, be like, I don't see him. And all of a sudden, get hit with the uppercut and get knocked out. You think you got away? You ain't getting away from Tank's uppercut. Foolish man. He snapped you with that, you know what I mean? He'll find you. So, fight fans, listen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please take your time out to give the video a like. It helps me out in the algorithm and everything. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I got to get something to eat. I'm a little hungry, man. I could already tell. So, fight fans, take care of yourself until we meet at 6 in the morning.